Once upon a time, in a small village in China, there was a boy named Lianliang. He was born in 1901, during a time when China was changing very fast. Lianliang loved music and acting. He often watched performances in his village and dreamed of becoming a great performer one day. Lianliang's family was not very rich, but they loved him very much. When he was very young, his parents noticed that he had a special talent for singing and acting. They decided to send him to a special school to learn Peking opera. Peking opera is a traditional Chinese art form that combines singing, acting, and acrobatics. It is very beautiful and difficult to learn. At the age of 8, Lianliang started his training. The training was very hard. He had to wake up early every morning and practice for many hours. He learned how to sing in a special way, how to move his body gracefully, and how to wear colorful costumes and makeup. He also learned how to use his voice to express different emotions like happiness, sadness, and anger. Lianliang worked very hard. Even when he was tired, he never gave up. He wanted to be the best Peking opera performer in the world. His teachers were very strict, but they saw that he had a lot of talent. They taught him everything they knew. When Lianliang was 12 years old, he performed on stage for the first time. He was very nervous, but he remembered all the things he had learned. When he started singing, everyone in the audience was amazed. His voice was clear and beautiful, and his movements were perfect. After the performance, everyone clapped and cheered. Lianliang felt very happy. As he grew older, Lianliang became more and more famous. People loved his performances. They said he was one of the best Peking opera performers they had ever seen. He traveled to many cities in China and performed for thousands of people. Everyone wanted to see him. One of his most famous roles was in a play called The Empty City Stratagem. In this play, Lianliang played a wise and clever character named Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang was a military strategist who used his intelligence to defeat his enemies. Lianliang's performance was so good that people said he was Zhuge Liang. They could feel the character's wisdom and calmness through Lianliang's voice and movements. Lianliang was not only a great performer, but he was also a kind person. He always helped other performers and shared his knowledge with them. He believed that Peking opera was a very important art form, and he wanted to keep it alive for future generations. One day, Lianliang was invited to perform in a big city far away. He was very excited because this was a very important performance. Many famous people would be there, including the President of China. Lianliang practiced every day to make sure he was ready. On the day of the performance, Lianliang woke up early. He put on his costume and makeup and went to the theater. When he arrived, he saw that the theater was full of people. He felt a little nervous, but he took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The performance was amazing. Ma Lianliang's voice was powerful and emotional. His movements were graceful and precise. The audience was completely silent as they watched him. When the performance ended, everyone stood up and clapped for a long time. Even the president of China was impressed. After the performance, Ma Lianliang became even more famous. People called him the King of Peking opera. He continued to perform for many years and inspired many young people to learn Peking opera. But Ma Lianliang's life was not always easy. During his lifetime, China went through many changes. There were wars and revolutions, and many people suffered. At one point, Peking opera was not allowed to be performed because some people thought it was old-fashioned. Ma Lianliang was very sad, but he never stopped believing in the importance of his art. During this difficult time, Ma Lianliang worked quietly to keep Peking opera alive. He taught young students in secret and wrote down his knowledge so that it would not be lost. He believed that one day, people would understand the beauty of Peking opera again. In his later years, Ma Lianliang became a teacher. He taught young students everything he knew about Peking opera. He wanted to make sure that this beautiful art form would not be forgotten. Many of his students became famous performers too. Ma Lianliang also created new plays and songs for Peking opera. He wanted to make the art form more exciting and modern. His new plays were very popular, and people loved them. They said Ma Lianliang was not only a great performer, but also a great creator. He worked hard to make Peking opera better and more interesting for everyone. Ma Lianliang also traveled to other countries to perform. He wanted to share Peking opera with the world. People in other countries were amazed by his performances. They had never seen anything like Peking opera before. Ma Lianliang's performances helped people in other countries learn about Chinese culture. They saw how beautiful and special it was. Ma Lianliang was very proud to share his art with the world. He believed that art could bring people together and help them understand each other. Ma Lianliang passed away in 1966, but his legacy lives on. Today, people still remember him as one of the greatest Peking opera performers of all time. His performances are recorded, and people can watch them to see his talent and passion. Every year, there is a special festival in China to celebrate Peking opera. During the festival, performers from all over the country come together to honor Ma Lianliang and other great artists. They perform his most famous plays and teach young people about the history of Peking opera. Ma Lianliang's story is a story of hard work, dedication, and love for art. He showed that with passion and perseverance, anyone can achieve their dreams. He also showed that art has the power to bring people together and make the world a better place. Today, many young people in China and around the world are learning Peking opera because of Ma Lianliang. They are inspired by his story and want to keep this beautiful art form alive. Ma Lianliang's dream of sharing Peking opera with the world has come true. His legacy will live on forever in the hearts of those who love art and culture.